Namaste. As a part of online guided meditation sessions that I'll be offering, I wanted to offer the first few videos of giving preliminary instructions for meditation and later on contemplations. So, in this video, I will focus on some of the basic preliminary aspects related to meditation. And in the subsequent videos, I will go through step by step, at least for the first 7 sessions, these preliminary instructions that will enable anyone to go through their meditation practices. So, the first thing that I want to mention here is that in terms of meditation, we all have different approaches. And some people take more to what I call as the energy path, which is more the yogic based practices, and wherein the focus is more on physical and mental related exercises. They are helpful, and they are kind of also part of what is called as a sadhana. Some others of us actually may feel more inclined towards what is called as consciousness practices, where the focus is more on related more to the mind awareness, and to directly being able to relate and abide in those states. So many the people who take to this other approach of consciousness generally have the feeling that meditation is not necessary, and that there is no need for any kind of regular practices. This is a misnomer, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because it is important that until we understand that state that we are in, because those saints who actually spoke from that level were always abiding in that state of awareness. And so there was not a break in their consciousness for them. So the need to make any effort was not necessary. But in most of our case, who go through our daily life, we are still caught up in our daily life challenges, emotions, and that we are not able to be in touch with our conscious nature all the time. We need to undertake practices, and it has to be formal practices done regularly until it is this aspect of awareness manifests in our daily life, and that we whenever we're going through whatever states, whether it is physical sickness or mental challenges, that nature of awareness of a consciousness is always with us. So at that point it starts becoming more effortless, but until then formal practice is necessary. Now the other aspect of those who take to the energy practices, the tendency is more again to focus more on experience and on the knowing of that kind of feeling of peace or blissful mental states, and this feeling of connecting with others, compassion to others. Now, as such, they are all very good basis for practice, but uh, as a sadhana, it is not by itself incomplete. And this you will actually understand better as we go through the practices. And one point about generally both these practices is that merely experience by itself is not adequate for one sadhana. It has to transform into daily into application and realization in one's life. Mere ideas, intellectual contemplation on certain things, no matter how depth you are able to contemplate and how elated your philosophy might be, unless it kind of transforms into some kind of an experiential understanding in your daily life, and it transforms the nature of your thoughts, and even maybe the nature of your perceptions of the world and your own mind, until that kind of an experiential understanding is there, and some kind of you lose this sense of solidity of all your fixation with the thoughts and the world. Until that kind of experiential understanding is there, that sadhana is not complete. So this aspect of sadhana is a combination of both this. And in this, we there is nothing harm in actually invoking the help of the divine, whether you relate to the divine in the form of form or formless, so that uh, form of understanding that there is a higher superior force can actually be helpful and stabilizing factor. But if you don't have that kind of natural faith towards it, there is no need to force that, because by practice and through natural opening of understanding, uh, you will come to your own understanding and view, what is called as a view of your own spiritual philosophy. So having said that, I want to talk a little bit more about what are the steps that we'll be taking in the next few sessions. One of the important steps is to understand your own personality type, your own inclination towards whether it is, as I mentioned, these energy practices or the consciousness practices, and yet be able to integrate each of them, because none of us is 100% this personality or this we have, or this inclination. Our natures are not are a mixture of all of this. The ratio might differ. At the same time, another part of this is like whether we are more intellectually inclined in our sadhana, or whether we are heart-based, devotionally inclined. So that is another attribute that we have to understand and work with as well. And again, this might change on a day-to-day basis. Someday we may feel more intellectually inclined, so we can adopt certain practices that will help us. Uh, then on other days we may be more devotionally inclined. Then another aspect of this is also whether we are more attuned to a verbal nature in our practice. In that case, we will oscillate more towards affirmations and using of certain concepts, analytical thoughts and ideas. Or if you're more visual based, or we may be more generally also more kinesthetic based, so we may kind of like to focus more on some aspect of some form or some light, or be able to visualize that our ideas into certain aspects of our view of the world or perceptions. So also transform those perceptions into our visual view of how we are contemplating through that. I will go through this later, so I'm just giving you an overview of this in this session. The last aspect of this is uh, this actual preliminary steps involved in meditation, and I will be going through in different sessions about that. But one of the first thing important thing is the body posture. How do we sit in our meditation, in our formal practice? In your informal practice, when you are like sitting through having some contemplation or going through some devotion, it's okay, you can assume whatever is easy for you. But there is some basic body posture, which is a combination of certain relaxation in your body posture and a certain kind of uprightness, certain firmness. So balancing that is important. Then there is also this aspect of how we go through with our breathing, like to be able to use the breathing. Not that you have to learn complex pranayama exercises, but some basic pranayama. And sometimes just those basic pranayama, if you do it rightly, is all that is necessary. So I will run through some of that basic ones in that as well. The last one is actually to be able to use the attitude and like also the what I call as the intention in your practice. Having a right intention, having a right attitude, that can make a huge difference as well. So in our subsequent sessions, we will actually deal with each of them. But for now, these are the main steps that that is important to consider in our meditation practice. So you can think about this, and you can also kind of have some notion, okay, what type are you, and what is your main inclination, and what is your main purpose also is important. For some people, the purpose of taking to any meditation practice is just that they want to be able to feel good. They've heard that it frees us from tension, helps us to focus, helps us to be able to abide in in certain peaceful state during your day-to-day life. For some others, it's much more deeper. They are on some deeper quest. They want to understand life. They want to have a certain depth of their own direct personal experiential understanding. Probably read enough of books and other things, and they want to dive in deep and have their own understanding of their own realizations. For few others, it may be a form to connect to some divine nature, something bigger than them, bigger than their own life, and have be able to nurture that faith that there is something beyond this life, beyond this body and mind. So, or it may be a combination of us, and for most of us, there are certain elements of each of these involved. But it is important to just have some idea about this. And for those of you who are interested to continue on after these preliminary instructions, please indicate through the comments or through contacting me through the email or website or something like that. So then I will be able to include you in that sessions which I take after this first few sessions. My goal is to actually do it like a 3 to 4 weeks session, so that people can actually they say it takes 3 weeks to change a habit, 3 to 4 weeks. So by offering this on a regular basis, I want to be able to help people to undergo that habitual transformation, and be able to establish a formal practice of meditation and contemplation on a daily basis. Thank you. Namaste. Om.